Mi Dios es bueno, alábale. Mi Dios es bueno, adórale. Mi Dios es bueno, alábale. Mi Dios es bueno, adórale. Él me levanta.
For the people of El Peñón and the Dominican Republic, the missionaries who travel here are truly a godsend. Many come through the global missionary organization SCORE International, whom Northside partnered with on this trip. SCORE is a ministry that equips and mobilizes church missionaries to fulfill the Great Commission, to share God's love, and to offer short-term missions experience for groups.
Habitación se dice que van a dormir.
Sí, exacto.
One room, bedroom.
Bedroom?
That one and that one.
Okay.
This trip was about helping the people of El Peñón and their church pastor, Pastor Maximo. For team leader Joe Salvani, it's about doing God's work.
This is Pastor Maximo's church. Pastor Maximo is a Haitian refugee who came to this land in the Dominican because it's a better place to be. And as you can see, according to our standards, it's poor. Pastor Maximo has such a heart for these people of the village. In this scenario, we're going to help improve his home with electrical lights, stuff like that.
Work in the village of El Peñón was not the only mission on the schedule. There were orphanages and children's centers to visit the next day. Prior to leaving for the mission trip, the Northside team went throughout the central New York community, collecting over 1,000 toothbrushes, tubes of toothpaste, and gifts for the children.
Split on the table, boys and girls, and then we can go from there.
As we headed out the next day to see the kids, we saw some friends and familiar faces. A team from North Syracuse Baptist were on their way to another village to do their mission work.
We're particularly passionate about church planting. We want fruit that will remain. We want to spread the gospel. We want to make disciples in all nations, but we want it to remain. And so long after we're dead and gone, I pray that the churches in these villages will continue on building disciples and multiplying, as we read in 2 Timothy 2:2.
Team Northside's first stop was the Springs in the Desert Daycare Center in San Pedro de Macaros, where we got to do some playtime with the kids. The Northside team then went to Emmanuel House, located in Pesquia, Dominican Republic, where they minister to over 100 needy children every week through feeding, education, and biblical training programs. Then it was back to El Peñón to complete the work in the village at the soon-to-be new house for Pastor Maximo.
You're going to put more outlets in than what they've got.
That's okay, the one outlet there. But does he want that switch to operate the light for this room?
Ese inductor es para esta operación.
Sí. Okay, that switch for this light.
Yo era una persona que vivía en el corral de vacas, que no tenía donde vivir, refugiada con mi familia.
He says it's very important, and also he says it's been a blessing for him and for the community because they've been living in bad conditions, and now they can see that God is helping them through sport and through the groups, making this kind of buildings.
For many members of this Northside team, this was their first time doing mission work, or for that matter, being out of the country.
It's overwhelming
In what way?
that God's children could live like this and still be happy. It humbles you beyond what anybody can fathom or imagine when you see it.
To be honest, I was expecting the Lord to do some real cutting in my life, just opening me up, exposing me. So I was a little nervous about that, but that is happening. But at the same time, He's blessed me incredibly with seeing perspective of what I have as opposed to what I could have been born into. And because of that, I realized I'm actually I have quite a responsibility because I've been blessed with so much to bless others.
Having been here in April and interacting with the people and watching God at work here and Him drawing me back to be a part of being one that would bring the gospel to these people. That's our main mission, is to bring the gospel to His people. And doing that by things that He has enabled me with, which is anything that I know how to do, that He has allowed me to do, to come and help these people with, to build a relationship, to share Christ with them.
I decided to go on a mission trip because it's something that's always been on my heart, and I always taken care of myself, and I felt that I needed to see what was out there and what the needs were so I could begin to take my eyes off myself and put them on other people.
Coming here today in the village, and a gentleman needs a doctor. I believe he has an infection in his foot and there's nothing I can do, and I feel if that isn't treated it could become septicemia and he could die, and I just cried. I want to be able to help and I can't.
It really shows you what you have, and not just what you have, but really the lack that others have. It's unbelievable seeing what these people are going through. In reality, just it puts it in a whole new dimension.
What's broken my heart is probably the kids. I don't believe kids should have to live the way that these kids have to live and grow up without the opportunities that we have. That's what really breaks my heart. What has filled me with a lot of joy is all the good that's being done by the orphanages and by people that come here on trips to help and offer aid and support.
I wasn't really sure what to expect on this mission trip. I'd never been on one like this. I'd spent 22 years in the military going into regions of the world like this, but I never did it as a soldier for God. And not being real strong at giving testimony, I think the actions of what we do here is our testimony.
It brings joy all around. It brings joy to the village to know that their pastors can be taken care of, and now he can take care of them. It means the world. It's something very special in my heart, and it's very obvious that it's something very special in their hearts.
This team was truly divinely put together by the Lord, because it is a group of people that are so different in our lives, but so connected in the same focus, the same direction, and that's to be God's hands and feet in a place where maybe the gospel would not, or maybe needs help to be spread. But truly, He has shown me that He can use anybody and put anybody together and accomplish His will.
When asked if they would recommend a mission trip to others, their answers were inspiring and without hesitation.
Do it. Don't think, just do it. It's life-changing. It's what we're called to. It'll put your life into perspective.
I'm getting really, really sad thinking, how am I going to leave here and leave it all behind, barely scraping the surface.
I never thought that I'd say I want to do another one, but I'm pumped for another one. Like, I so want to keep doing them. I'm definitely got that in my blood now.
They need medical care, they need schools. There's an 7% illiteracy rate. Come here and help. So much is needed. We take so much for granted in the United States, and I've heard that before, but now I've really experienced it.
If somebody in Northside were considering a mission trip, I would tell them to first get down on their knees in front of the Lord and ask Him to direct them where He feels they should go, because sometimes we have our agendas and our ideas, but when God puts it on your heart and directs you, He makes it crystal clear what He wants you to do.
Not to delay it, just to go and do it. And can't do anything but change you for the better. Really can't.
By going on a mission trip, you're going to be able to do more back in the States for people, because you will see what it is that's needed better.
I would recommend it to anybody who's even got an inkling in their heart about going on a mission trip, that they pray strong about it and see how they can put this together, because the rewards are immeasurable, not only from what we're doing for the people here, but what for the people give
give back to us. And it's those smiles, it's the hugs, and it's the difference that we're making, those little moments where we're not actually preaching the gospel, but we're preaching it through our actions, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Say it.